Dave. I just want to thank everyone for attending the convention, and hopefully you met the goals that you set out to meet during the convention. And if Chris and I and the Madison County Hosting Club provided you the opportunity of doing this, then we're more than satisfied. I would like to introduce the Madison County breeders that are here and club members that put this together. And as most of you know that have worked on this, it takes a lot of effort. First, I'd like to introduce DeWitt and Diane Head. If you will stand, please. Ted Aber, Joe Shala, who provided the bags from Empire Tractor, Diana Curtis, Amy Kelsey, Joan Curtis, and really Amy and Joan probably deserve the most credit because all the nitty-gritty the stuffing of the bags, the tickets, the registrations. Joan put more miles on our cars and trucks than I've done in a year trying to gather information and gather products for the dairy bar. They did a great job. Some of the people that aren't here that need to be recognized, her name is Jenny Kelsey Mills, Nicole Head, who was the junior hosting chairperson, convention chair, and her mother Colleen. Steph Anderson, who hasn't arrived yet. She's on her way from milking cows. And of course, my co-chairman, Chris. So again, on behalf of the breeders and myself, thank you for attending this convention.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we've got a big program tonight, so really got to hustle through things and won't be able to tell hardly any jokes. But I was talking to somebody, I was talking to the Sharps' closest friends, and I heard a story about the Sharps when they were just married. And they were on in the honeymoon suite on the wedding night. And as they were getting undressed for bed, Dean said, Dean's a big burly man, we all know who he is. He tossed his pants over to his bride, Carrie, and he said, "Here, put these on." She put them on, and the waist was twice the size of her body. She said, "I can't wear your pants," she said. He said, "You're right about that. Son, don't you ever forget it. You can't wear my pants. I'm the man who wears the pants in his family." With that, Carrie flipped him her panties and she said, "Try these on." Dean, he tried to put them on, he pulled them up, get them around, got him up to his kneecaps. He said, "How do I can't get into your panties?" And she said, "That's right, and that's the way it's going to be until you change your attitude." Straightened him out. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great, we have a big night, a lot of recognition to give tonight. Certainly want to recognize the gold sponsor tonight. That would be Select Sires. People, anybody from Select Sires, stand up, give them a big round of applause. Really appreciate that very much, very much. I also want to, we're going to just do a few introductions here. I want to make sure that, well, my wife Mary is right here to the right. Patricia Gifford is right there to the right of Mary. The new president, Charlie McAvoy, right there, new president of the New York Hosting Association. Well deserved. To the right of him, the very lovely Kim Brzee. And to the right of Kim, Perotti. Okay, Mr. Perotti, the outgoing president, give them all a big round of applause. Thank you. Now, not sitting up there tonight, and we're going to get into the invocation here very quickly, but not sitting, just want to make sure, because she's got to leave early tonight to go milk cows. The New York State Dairy Princess, Madeline Kuhlman, where are you at? Madeline, we appreciate your representation very much. I know you have to go milk cows, and we appreciate your being here and everything you do for the dairy industry. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Now, a few other things here before I get underway. The centerpieces. The centerpieces, folks, we're going to give those, the Madison County Club is going to give those away tonight, but they're going to go to, if you check under your coffee plate, if you have a smiley face there, it's the centerpiece is yours. Okay? Smiley face is a good face. We're going to be serving dinner here tonight, right now, and I just want to bring up a little story here about Charlie McAvoy. Charlie over here. My wife, by the way, she was tied up here earlier with other things, and she didn't get time to screen some of these jokes. So, if there's anybody here that's got some problems with offensive jokes, now's a good time. Get up. But, no. About 41 years ago, Charlie McAvoy, a New York mountain man, farmer, he was drafted by the Army. On Charlie's first day of basic training, the Army issued Charlie a comb. That afternoon, the Army barber sheared off all of Charlie's hair. On his second day, the Army issued Charlie a toothbrush. That afternoon, the Army dentist yanked 7 of Charlie's teeth. On the third day, the Army issued Charlie a jockstrap. And the Army's been looking for Charlie for the last 41 years. So let's have a good night, enjoy your meal, and we'll get underway. And every time I come back here, I think about the people that are not back with us. And every year I think about people that have really reflect upon the people that have meant so much to the association and people that gave, 40, 50, 60 years or more. So I guess what I'd like to do is ask people that have been part of this association for, I'll say 40 to 60 years. You just stand up to be acknowledged. I think there's a number of people in here been with us a long time. You've been a member for 40 to 60 years. You just stand up, if you would. Give them a big round of applause. Now, I want to make mention of the fact that a little bit later on, we're going to have an auction benefit for the New York Holstein Association Scholarship Fund. Today, they've raised, at the silent auction, they had raised $3,200. And tonight, we're going to be handing out the quilt. We're going to be auctioneering the quilt, the rocking horse, and Syracuse tickets for what, West Virginia? Is that right? These are all fantastic donations. The Syracuse tickets, Joel and Anita Hastings. The handmade rocking horse, which we're going to do this a little later. CMEX USA, Dean and Carrie Sharp, donated by them. And the quilt, king-sized handmade quilt, donated by Farm Credit East. So we appreciate those donations to the association and the scholarship fund. It's a very, very important part of the program, and certainly when we look at the youth that we turn out, I wish that the whole country had a program like the New York Holstein Association and the National Association. I guess what I'd like to do is try to move this along. We have a number of awards, like I say, to give out tonight. The Outstanding Young Breeder Award. Certainly always one of the highlights of the evening. This award this evening will be presented by Peter Dupengeiser. And Pete, if you'd like to come up, that would be great. I'll tell the story about, just a little story while you're coming up here about understanding Tom Kugler. I understand he's now on the executive board for the New York Holstein Association. Nice to have you with us, Joanne. I really appreciate seeing you here. I know that you telling me that story, that intimate story about you and Tom, that one time, maybe I better not say, oh, I'm all right. You're all right. You're safe. You're safe. Okay. But Tom, Tom came home one day and was greeted by Joanne, and she was dressed just, knockout. Beautiful lingerie. She said, Tom, you can tie me up anything you want. And this is Tom. This is the new guy, Tom. I want you to know the way he thinks. Tom says, you know what he does? Ties her up and he went golfing. It's just the way Tom operates. Pete, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Patsy told me to keep my presentation pretty brief. I do have 12 pages, but that's only because I'm going blind, and my wife made the print really big because my boys said if I wore the glasses, they were leaving. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce your New York State Outstanding Young Breeders, who have an incredible list of credentials. When you hear what they've accomplished, you will assume they were longtime master breeders. This young couple began their career with registered Holsteins in 1997, and since then has bred more than 20 excellent and over 160 very good animals within their ownership. They've also bred 13 top 10,000 CTPI cows, 8 locator list cows, 30 genomic locator list cows, and 21 elite list cows. They bred 1 Dam of Merit, 2 All New Yorks, a Junior All New York, an All-American, and 2 honorable mention Junior All-Americans. And additionally, they have set 30 bulls into AI. Some of their greatest breeding and marketing accomplishments include the sale of OCD Planet Danica for $70,000 in the 09 Legends of the Fall sale, the success of OCD Aspen Midnight Rain, the 2010 undefeated senior yearling in New York, and World Dairy Expo Junior Show. They had an animal in the 2011 International Intrigue sell for over $150,000. This year they have bred and shown the reserve intermediate champion at the New York State Fair, OCD Tequila Sour, and went on to place 10th in the Open Show at the Open Show World Dairy Expo and earn All New York and Best Owned and Bred honors. To put their breeding program on fast forward, they've taken a page out of Horace Bacchus's book, To Buy the Best and Breed Them Better. To accomplish this, they use intensively ET and IVF program, and over the past 12 months, their animals have produced and they have implanted over 1,500 embryos on farm. They have hosted 4 Spring Sensation sales, which have gained the respect of dairymen worldwide as a place to buy the very best genetics and show animals. Their 2011 sale averaged an impressive 62.21 on over 100 live lots. But not only are they master breeders, they have given incredibly generously to our industry. When asked what they have accomplished as dairymen and breeders, they responded, "One of our greatest accomplishments has been working with some of the great youth in our local 4-H and Holstein clubs and New York Association. They have strived to provide a fun yet educational environment for the youth of tomorrow through Dairy Bowl and other activities, to help guide and prepare them for their futures. They noted how rewarding it is for them to witness the youth's development over the years and how they look forward to their impact on the industry in the years to come. This couple was recognized as the 2010 New York Junior Holstein Association honorary members. They have served on the Neoga Holstein board, co-chaired their show, served as the club's junior advisor for 9 years, coached the Dairy Bowl team for 9 years, leading them to the National Dairy Bowl competition 3 times. Tyler Reynolds, one of the youths they have coached and mentored, stated, "They're like second parents to us. They took us to 3 national conventions and we had experiences and met people we would never have met without them. Being around them is just awesome fun." And if you ever played darts with Jonathan, you'll know he's not lying. A graduate of the University of Florida in animal science, she serves as a dairy farm nutritionist and consultant. She has served on the Neoga Holstein Club board, on Genesee County's Chamber of Commerce Ag Committee, as a Holstein Club and 4-H dairy judging coach and dairy judging contest official at both the National North American International Livestock Expo and World Dairy Expo, and was elected as a new director to the National Dairy Shrine. A Cornell graduate in animal science, he serves as co-owner and dairy manager along with his brother, father, and longtime partner Jim Veazey in a progressive farm that includes 3 dairy facilities, milking over 5,000 cows and operating over 8,000 acres of land. Together, our outstanding young breeders manage the registered cattle business of lamb farms known as Oakfield Corners Dairy. He has served on the Neoga Holstein board as president of the club for 3 years, the Upstate Milk Board, Select Sire Power Delegate, and serves on Holstein Association USA National Director and on the Genetic Advancement Committee. This outstanding young breeder also served on the Northeast Dairy Producers Association board for 6 years and is the organization's chair for 4. It is with this organization that I got to know him very well. He is an intelligent and dynamic leader and gives very unselfishly to our industry in many ways. It has been my pleasure to get to know both of them, and I know the New York industry has benefited enormously by their efforts and success. With that, I'd like to ask Jonathan and Alicia Lamb to come up.
Thanks, Pete. This is certainly unexpected, and I think Alicia and I are very humbled. We have a lot of people to thank, and as Pete mentioned, Horace had always said, buy the best and breed them better, and that's always something that we've strived to do, and we've taken advantage of the genetics of many of the people in this room, and from the team that we've assembled at home, the employees that we work with, and my family, and it's something that Alicia and I have a lot of passion for, and something that we enjoy doing together. And again, a lot of the people in this room have really made an impact on us and our lives, and really taught us a lot. And I'd like to thank all of you for that. Do you have anything to add? Thank you very much.
Patsy said to make sure. Farm Family Insurance, I believe, has a prize, is that right, or some type of a benefit that goes to you of $1,000. So just want to make you aware of that, Farm Family Insurance. So appreciate that. That's a great award. Folks, make sure, if you would, that you make yourself familiar with the names that are showing up here. I mean, look at the Outstanding Young Holstein Breeder Award recipients from last year. Also, make sure you make yourself familiar with the Master Breeder Awards that have been given out in the past. And I looked up back here, the New York Holstein Association past presidents. You want to just stand up if you're a past president of the New York Holstein. And if you expect to be a president in the future, you can stand up. I really don't. But, hey, we got two. Dick Coyne, you're back there somewhere. I know you are. Gary Sherwood. Now, Chuck Ward is sitting over there. He is the president of the National Holstein Association. Chuck, that would apply to you too. That's El Presidente. We appreciate it and having you here and all that you guys do for us. I really do. I guess moving on into the program here, I'm going to move on to the Active Master Breeder Award to be presented by Bradley Cates. Brad, if you want to come up here and save Becky Emerling, I'll save this for her. She can wait. I'll tell the story about Becky later once you get up here. No, I'll tell her now. But you can come on up, Brad. It takes a little time. You got to pay attention here. Pay attention. Becky was walking down the street when she was accosted by a particularly dirty, shabby-looking homeless woman who asked her for a couple of dollars for dinner. Becky took out her wallet. She's just so generous. She got out $10 and she said, "I'll give you the money if you tell me you will go buy dinner and not buy wine." And the lady said, "I haven't had anything to drink in 10 years. Becky says, "Will you use it to go shopping instead of buying food?" No, I won't waste time shopping," the homeless woman said. "I need to spend all my time trying to stay alive." Becky looked at her and said, "Will you spend this on a beauty salon instead of food?" Lady said, "Are you nuts?" replied the homeless lady. Said, "Are you crazy? I haven't had my hair done in 20 years. Becky looked right at her and said, "Well, then I'm not going to give you any money. Instead, I'm going to take you to dinner. Take you out for dinner with my husband, Jeff. We're going to go out all night." The homeless lady looked at Becky. She's totally shocked. She said, "Would your husband be furious with you for doing that? I'm dirty and I'm probably smell. I'm disgusting." Becky looked right at her and she said, "That's okay. It's important for Jeff to see what a woman looks like after she's given up shopping, hair appointments, and wine." Bradley.
It's awful hard to follow that. But we're down in Cortland County. We're awful proud of Charlie. He's always been kind of the father figure to us. And I don't know if you've been following along, but there's Facebook and everything, all these things out here. And his daughter-in-law there's on Facebook, and they have one child that they're awful proud of, and Charlie's proud of it, and Carolyn's proud, and then they have another one on the way, I understand, and it's really been a big thing in our area. We're proud of the whole family, and Lydia, that's the daughter-in-law, she called me up this morning and she said, "Brad," she says, "there's been something going on that we just can't understand." And I said, "Well, go ahead." I said, "I feel like I'm part of the family. You might as well tell me too." And she says, "Well, every morning Charlie's out there with his John Deere and he's singing to it and he's wiping it off and just having a good old time, and we don't understand it, but every morning it's the same thing." And I said, "Well, when I get up to convention, I'll ask Charlie." I said, "He'll tell me. We've always been close." And so I got up here and I asked Charlie, and he says, "Well, we've had a lot of romance down our way, and it's kind of got me going a little bit." And Carolyn didn't want anything to do with it, so he says, I went and got some help. I'm not ashamed of it, but I went and got some help, and the person there said, "Well, just do something sexy to attract her." So that's the future of our Holstein club right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I got these new glasses. I can't see with them. I can't see without them. So bear with me a little bit. About 30 miles south of here is one of the nicest herds of registered Holstein cows a breeder could develop. It's a beautiful dairy of distinction farm that's always open to visitors. This year's active master breeders are my friends Ben and Carolyn Turner of Maple Lane Manor Farm. I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about each of them. Carolyn is the definition of the phrase "no child left behind" of the Holstein Association. Every year, Carolyn has at least one new young person with her at the fairs that shows one of her calves, and it's usually their best calf. It doesn't matter if it's a farm kid or not. Carolyn's philosophy is keep the local kids working and out of trouble. She is one of the first to ask if she can donate a calf to the club's local scholarship for the youth. If you were to stop at Maple Lane Manor Farm, depending on the time of year, Carolyn may be milking, raking, baling, cleaning calf pens, feeding cows, or any other job that needs to be done. She and her son, John, manage the farm with herdsman Jay Liddington. She is a very devoted individual who knows her goals. As many people say, she does the work of two. After finishing Cornell, Ben moved to the Cortland area and successfully started his own vet practice that has evolved into a 7-person predominantly dairy practice. Ben has always been very instrumental in the consultation and the encouragement of the young dairymen, a mentor to many of us. Ben has a knack of tactfully bringing new ideas to farms that would solve their problems and make them more profitable. Ben also has a special knack of coming to the farm when you're down and out, and leaving you with a whole new outlook. One of the many ways Ben has shared his success was a feature article in Horde's Dairyman entitled Bore Them to Death. The article was an in-depth discussion on the importance of keeping consistency in all aspects of a cow's life: diet, schedule, and environment, and the value of not changing their daily routine throughout the year. Bore them to death. What a clever way to put it. In 1982, Carolyn and Ben moved to Apulia Station and built a state-of-the-art tie stall facility for 120 cows. Over the next 30 years, both having a work ethic second to none, have created a legacy that'll never be matched. With a breeding philosophy of a strong, balanced cow, with both tight production that is wide, powerful, and a beautiful udder, Maple Lane Manor has bred 34 excellence and many very good cows, with the highest being a Durham that has presently scored 94 points. They have bred 12 gold medal dams, 4 dams of merit. And now, the part of my presentation that I feel is just amazing and exciting, and I hope I can do it justice. On twice-a-day milking, Maple Lane Manor has bred 23 of the 48 state record milk leaders, the highest being 57,700 pounds of 3.9% milk. Nearly 2,300 pounds of fat, 1,800 pounds of protein. In the protein division, Maple Lane Manor has bred 30 of the 48 state record protein leaders. In the fat division, they are credited with 15 of the 48 state fat record leaders. So when you add up all the different divisions, Maple Lane Manor currently holds 68 of the 144 all-time milk, fat, protein, and production leaders in the history of New York State. Now, I'm going to set my notes down. We've all had great cows that have made some nice records. But can you just imagine they're 4 short of having half of the state records of all time. Let's give them a hand. It's understandable how they achieved this, with a rolling herd average of nearly 31,000 pounds of milk, 1,200 pounds of fat, and 1,000 pounds of protein, which ranks Maple Lane Manor herd top in New York State, even over herds that milk 3 times a day. While doing my research, I found out that at least since 2002, the Maple Lane Manor herd has averaged 30,000 pounds of milk, which tells me that the herd has produced 100 pounds of milk per cow per day for 10 years. That's just amazing to me. In 2009 and 2010, Maple Lane Manor herd was one of the few herds ever in New York State to be awarded the USA Herd of Excellence. To achieve this recognition, the herd must be 70% homebred. Milk, fat, protein must exceed breed average by 25%. The herd must have an actual classification of 83 points. They continue to raise the bar for the rest of us as far as I'm concerned. In addition to these accomplishments, the Turners have hosted the New York State Holstein Picnic, opened their facilities to host 4-H, college, and business tours, judging clinics, whatever you need at their farm. They are very supportive of all activities, especially our local shows. They've done all this while enjoying their 8 children and 12 grandchildren. Please stand up and help me honor Ben and Carolyn Turner, Maple Lane Manor.
I've had a lot of mentors over the years that have really helped us and helped me in the breeding of Holstein cattle. I was fortunate as a young fellow to grow up on a family farm in the state of Maine, and when I was 10 years old, my dad bought me a registered Holstein Effa calf. I had 2 cow families, and when I got old enough to go to college, my dad said, well, you got these cattle. One of 6 kids, and I was next to the oldest, so that's how I got started. And since then, I've been very blessed to work with people that have appreciated the individual cow, which I think a lot of, and I'd rather have, that's why we built a tie stall. We're old-fashioned. A tie stall is, I can walk in 5 minutes, 8 minutes, or whatever. I can see all the cows and set up some programs and have good help and treat them well. And I think developing an eye for a good cow is something that you have to do on your own. And anybody can read the paper and read the credentials, but you gotta look and decide what you want. And my philosophy has been feet, legs, and udder, rest of the cow will be there. And I think that I've said that for years, and that goes, I started saying that back when Easton AI had a lot of bulls that made a lot of milk. One of the most famous one was Willow, and we had an excellent Willow, but I tell you, if you didn't have feet, legs, and udders, you didn't have a Willow. Which many breeders know, but anyway. And I've been very fortunate to have Carolyn, who is the brains and the guts of the outfit. I just kind of hang around. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next award to be presented will be the Retired Master Breeder Award by Barry Chase. And while Barry's coming up here, anybody that just want to acknowledge this, just anybody, one of these things, big credentials. If you have basically have been received the Genetic Merit Awards or PBR, you're a PBR recipient herd, stand up to be acknowledged, because I'll tell you, we got a lot of great breeders in the state of New York. If you've been distinguished with one of those awards, PBR awards or Genetic Merit Awards, please stand up. Got to be a bunch of you. Yep. Thank you. That's how you breed cattle. We're going to turn it right over here to Barry Chase.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening. It's an honor and a pleasure to be presenting tonight's Retired Master Breeder Award. Our retired master breeder has had very varied careers. He grew up on a 130-acre dairy farm. They milked 50 cows, grew hay, corn, and oats. And his dad was also a well-known and respected cattle dealer. His dad taught him at a young age how to judge a cow, how to evaluate that pedigree, and how to put those two together and come up with a price. And he said throughout his life, that early training his dad did has always stood him in very good stead for being able to evaluate and make sound business decisions. He tells a lot of wonderful stories about his dad. One that I like particularly is, well, it's kind of a down-home philosophy of life, and it goes like this. If you can pay for it with a check, it's not really a problem. But there are 2 things that you can't buy, your health or your reputation. That's pretty good growing up to have that stuff here and that kind of stuff. Our honoree shifted gears when he went to college. He went to the University of Rochester, majored in biology, went on to medical school, and then did a 5-year residency at the University of Pittsburgh to become an orthopedic surgeon. In 1977, he came to Poughkeepsie and opened an orthopedic practice. During the next busy years, he never lost his desire to once again milk cows. In 1995, he bought a small farm in nearby Hyde Park, and he raised replacement heifers. 1998, he decided to chase his dream, took early retirement, modernized the barn, purchased a herd from a retiring farmer, and supplemented those animals with bred heifers from our eastern New York area. And at this is when I first got to meet our honoree, and from that humble beginning, a wonderful friendship has evolved. Milking cows, he quickly came to realize that in order to get where he wanted to be in the Holstein industry, he had to jumpstart his breeding program. So in 2000, he went to the summer picnic sale, and he purchased an animal from Devlin Hurley. Her name was MD Carlton B.C. Lizzie, a Boulay Charles daughter. And to be factual, and it'll go a lot quicker, I'm just going to read this next part. And what it amounts to is the 3 animals that he chose as his foundation stock and the wonderful things he did with them to make those pedigrees so much deeper. Pete, I got your glasses. Thank you very much. Lizzie became the queen of the herd and a prolific brood cow. She lived to be 13, scored 3 E94, and was a dam of merit with a 94-point udder and 99-point feet and legs. She was nominated Honorable Mention All-New York 4-year-old in 2002. Her first daughter, an Encore, scored excellent 92. Her next daughter, a Red Marker 2E92, with a 95-point memory. She sold in the 2006 summer picnic sale, which was held at his farm. She brought $10,500. Her next daughter, by Dundee, was excellent 92, and at 5 years, she sold in his 2011 complete dispersal for $5,900. He began flushing Lizzie at 5 years of age, and she had 8 more offspring merchandised successfully. Her 5 remaining offspring sold at his 2011 dispersal for $24,400. Our honoree's second foundation animal was Chase Home Commotion Izzy, a Z-Cal Commotion daughter. She scored 2E93 with records to 33,000 for Denham milk. He bred her to Durham and flushed her successfully to Durham as well. Her natural Durham daughter, Jazzy, scored 2E90, and her ET daughters have sold, gone excellent, and high very good for their new owners. Herd right next to me bought one of those ET animals, and it just went from 90 to 93 2 days ago. Jazzy's granddaughter by Royland Jordan scored excellent 94 and was reserve All New York and best bred and owned 3-year-old in 2009. She topped the 2011 dispersal, going to Wisconsin for $12,600. Another granddaughter of Izzy, out of Reagan Crest Diehard, sold privately to Reagan Crest Farm as an 87.2-year-old for $12,000. She now has 14 sons in AI. At the 2011 dispersal, 6 head from the Izzy family sold for $32,650. The final piece of the breeding puzzle was a deep pedigreed yearling bought at the 2006 Ridgedale sale. She by Silky Gibson, named Ridgedale Eccentric, is now 2E91 and has been flushed to Shottle with 8 embryos and a natural Shottle daughter who was bred to Braydale Goldwyn and sold in his dispersal for $11,700. 3 head from the Eccentric family sold in the 2011 dispersal for $22,500. The sale averaged $3,200 on 72 head. His rolling herd average was 24,000 pounds of milk, 936 of fat. The last BAA, excuse me, was 110.1 with 12 excellence, 26 very good, and 2 good plus. He bred many, he used many bulls very successfully, but there was one bull that put him totally on the map. That was the Royland Jordan bull. He used him early, and he used him often. He had over 30 daughters of the bull in his herd. 12 of them went excellent, and many more were high very good. To walk into his herd and see that lineup of Roy daughters was an amazing sight. Big, black, dairy, fancy uddered cows. And in his barn, they all had excellent feet and legs. The other thing that I was always aware of when I went to visit him, there were 3 things. Whenever you went to the barn, the cows were spotless and the barn was spotless. It was as if every day were show day. And the third thing, the excitement, the enthusiasm that you could feel from the people there, not only our honoree, but those who worked with him. They'd call you aside and say they wanted to show you a cow or a calf that they thought was going to be the next hot one in the herd. It was a very happy place. Our honoree has been and is very active in keeping dairy farming successful in our, viable, I guess is the word I want, in our Holstein community in the Eastern New York area. He is the, he created the concept of and is the driving force behind Hudson Valley Fresh. It's a regional milk marketing cooperative of 8 farmer members. At the end of its first year, Hudson Valley's Fresh gross milk sales were $60,000. Now, just having completed its 5th year, gross milk sales have come in at over $1.5 million. They are presently putting a yogurt machine in, and it will go online soon. And with this product, value-added product that is so popular, this next year is guaranteed to be very successful as well. The bottom line is that the bottom line for 8 farmers has been much improved, and it's the hope of our honoree that as the demand increases for Hudson Valley Fresh, more farms can be saved. He and his wife have always been very active in their own community as well as in our Holstein community, both locally and at the state level. At a time in our state association, when our state association's finances were in disarray, he became treasurer. And with his business acumen and force of character, he was able to use sound business and accounting practices, but more importantly, he was able to get everybody in the same room, on the same page, and headed in a positive direction toward turning things back in the black. Dave Rama wrote a wonderful letter in the sale catalog, October sale catalog, and I would just like to quote that final paragraph because it so touches on the essence of who these people are. I know I'm going to have that because I did remember. They have spent the greater part of their lives helping people out, lifting people up, assisting those in need, and setting an example for so many more to follow. Whether it be becoming the world-class surgeon, breeding a superior herd of Holstein cattle, or raising a family, they have always set their sights high and achieved their dreams. Please join me in welcoming this year's retired master breeder, Sam Simon.
You know, my accomplishments are truly pale compared to the 2 previous honorees, really. I'm humbled to be even mentioned in the same breath. But I would like to say in short, you are our inspiration. You know, bad weather, crazy milk prices, fuel costs, but you keep your eye on the ball, you keep improving the quality of the Holstein breed, and all these side distractions never faze you. And when you hear what was accomplished by the young breeder, the active breeder, it's amazing to us. And it's that passion that you have that inspired myself and Gail to do what we did in a very short period of time because, you know, life's no dress rehearsal. There comes a point in time and you say, do I have the energy to do all that I want to do? Or do I want to step back at the right time and just move on? So that's what we decided in October, and we loved it, we enjoyed it, we'll be part of it, but by no means at the level that the previous 2 honorees have accomplished. But thank you very much for thinking of us.
Well, congratulations to the master breeders and the retired and active master breeders. I know them all well, so. And certainly, Ben, you're right about Carolyn, because I tell you, every time I ever went to the farm, Carolyn was right there. I mean, she's always there and does a heck of a job. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Sarah Van Orden, are you here? Oh, you're doing this. Well, this is fantastic. We are going to now present the New York Brown Swiss Dedicated Breeder Award. And Sarah is definitely not here tonight, so the lovely Mrs. Chu is going to come up here. Stacia, all yours.
Okay. Thank you. The dedicated breeder for the Brown Swiss Association this year, the farmstead where Leon currently farms has been in the Button family for 126 years. Leon's father, Leon W., purchased his first Brown Swiss as a young boy and brought the herd to the national prominence in the 1970s as the breeder and owner of Vine Valley Paul Luan. Luan was named grand champion at the New York State Fair several times, in addition to being a 4-time All-American designee. Family members from Luan are a major influence in the breeding program in the herd today. The New York State Fair Premier Breeder banner has been awarded several times to the Button family. The milking herd today is composed of 200 plus registered Brown Swiss with an equal number of young stock. The current rolling herd average on 232 cows is 19,292, 3.9 of butter fat, 757 pounds, 3.3 of protein, and 639 pounds of protein. In 2011, the Vine Valley herd was recognized nationally as the 9th place PTPR herd and the 100 plus cow category, an award recognizing both production and type of the herd. 2 homebred cows are ranked in the top 200 on the December 2011 high PPR cow list. In 2010, the family hosted the 125th anniversary celebration and open house where friends and Brown Swiss enthusiasts gathered to view the herd and see the new construction of the buildings and barns for cattle housing and machinery repair. They farmed several hundred acres of land and have diversified to include the production and sale of seed stock. Leon sponsors 2 prestigious awards presented annually at the National Brown Swiss Convention, the Historical Master Breeder and the Active Master Breeder. He has been very generous supporting the New York Association by consigning to the spring sale, and this past year he donated the raffle calf. Leon has also offered calves for sale each year to young members wanting to start their own herds of Brown Swiss. In 2007, Leon hosted the National Convention attendees and even treated them to his delicious cinnamon buns. Leon is the proud father of 5 daughters. On behalf of the New York State Brown Swiss Association, we are grateful for Leon's lifetime and support, and we are honored to present him with this 2011 Distinguished Breeder Award.
I want to thank everybody very much. It's a very great honor, and I see my dad won it back in '74, and a lot of fellow breeders that I've known all my life have too. I was born and raised with Brown Swiss, and I love the breed, and I love all breeds, good cows in any breed, but I'm kind of partial to Swiss because that's what I've always been around, and thank you very much.
Okay. I don't want to forget anything here, but I tell you, you move on. Last night I always forget things, and certainly, Frank Putman, are you here? Is he gone? Anybody here from the Holstein World? Joel? Joel, where's Joel at? Joel, thank you very much. We know you do an awful lot. Appreciate it. I forgot to acknowledge, who else? Who am I missing? Randy Blodgett, right? Randy Blodgett, how could I miss Randy? Thank you very much. And I tell you guys, do an awful lot for the promotion of the industry. And I get caught up in last night, you know, you're getting ready to sail. I forgot a bunch of people. I forgot you folks. I forgot Mike McCaffrey, who's sitting right here. Mike, I want to acknowledge our staff at New York Holstein. Michael McCaffrey, stand up. Patricia Gifford, you stand up. I got to tell you something. I work with these people day in and day out. They do a heck of a job. They really care about you folks sitting in your seats and what the price of night. Care about everything. Stand up. We're going to acknowledge you guys right now. You deserve it. We appreciate your help very much. Where's Stacy Sherman? Is she here? Stacy, I'll tell you, there just couldn't be an organization without all you folks. So you know, we want to acknowledge you, and you deserve it, and we appreciate your help. And now we expect you to work 20-hour days. So, you know, there was a woman. She had twins, but she gave them up for adoption. One of them goes to a family in Egypt, and his name is Amal. The other goes to a family in Spain. They name him Juan. Years later, Juan sends a picture of himself to his mom. Upon receiving the picture, she yells to her husband that she wishes she had a picture of Amal. Her husband replies, "But they're twins. Once you've seen Juan, you've seen them all." Now, I tell you, I have to. My wife slashes all these jokes up. It's like going into a. It really is. I mean, it's like being in the army where they gotta, you know. I mean, look at the X's. Can't use that one. But, which comes back to the Bacon Hill Boys. And we're gonna get done with the program here. We still got a couple other things to do, but this is the last joke for the night, and we'll move on. But Bacon Hill Boys, you know, they love to go golfing. I mean, they go to Florida, they go golfing. Wife's lingerie, they go golfing. It doesn't matter what it is. They love to go golfing. One day they went golfing, and we're back to Kugler again. They're on the last hole. You had an X on this one, but I'm using it. And old Kugler, he drives off the tee, and he hooks it into a cow pasture. Oh, Jesus. He advises the Kings and the Pecks. He says, "Hey, you guys play through. I'll meet you up at the clubhouse." And they followed the plan. They waited for Kugler and waited. And after quite a long time, Kugler finally shows up. He's disheveled. He's bloody. He's badly beaten up. He looked like he'd been mauled and beat to death. So what happened? What happened? Kugler says, he says, "I went over into the cow pasture where I sliced the ball." He said, "I couldn't find the ball. And then I saw this cow over there. Her tail was kind of ringing around. She was in a lot of pain. And I went over, I lifted her tail up, and I saw a golf ball. And it was just kind of embedded there." But he said, it was a yellow ball, so I know it wasn't mine. And he said, "A woman came out, she came over the wall. She was apparently looking for her lost ball." And he said, "Being the kind of guy I am, I just raised her tail up and says, 'Does this look like yours?'" That's the last thing Kugler can remember. So, that had an accident. I'm going to ask Jimmy Perotti. We've got to change into the gavel here. And Jim, you might want to make the presentation here, and I think that... Yeah, come on over here, and be a good idea. Charlie? No, I will. I've got more jokes for this.
Okay, as you know, we have a new president, and great friend of mine and great friend of New York Holstein, who's supported this organization for a long time. And it is, I would like to pass the gavel on to Charlie McAvoy as your New York State President. Hopefully I left him with a good people to work with, and I know Charlie will lead this organization in the right direction. And Charlie, along with the gavel, I attached a little flag to it because there's been several times at meetings we haven't had a flag.
You want your picture?
Oh.
Well, to begin with, as you all know, Jimmy's been our president for the last 2 years, and we change. I say we're one of the few places where you change bosses every 2 years, so it's always a learning curve. But each boss brings you something unique and is a great help all the time. And Jimmy, you've been very special, and we'd like to present you with this and with great thanks.
Okay,
Take care.
Thank you very much. I'll be around.
Wait a second. And also this year, we had 2 of our executive committee that aged out as far as their term as board of directors. Doug Wolf and Henry Beneke. Would you come forward, please? Come on up, Henry.
Hi, Henry, you can make it.
The Eastern New York car is going to be short a couple of guys. The stories that come out of the Eastern New York cars coming to meetings. There you go.
Yeah, the car rides have been very interesting, Henry. Thank you, Jim. Well, I have to keep you on a committee so we can hear the jokes, and but it's been a pleasure having you on the executive committee and serving as you've done in the past with National, and then come back and serve us here in New York. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your service.
Certainly has been my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, folks, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. Before we do, there's a farmer's guide to life, just a few things that farmers, a few things they always hold true. One is that there's 2 theories to arguing with a woman. Neither one of those works. And if you think you're a person of some influence, try ordering somebody else's dog around. I've tried doing that on farms all over the state of New York. It doesn't work. Never ask a barber if he thinks you need a haircut. I guess it's like asking a sale manager if you need to have a sale. And always drink upstream from the herd. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have these donations tonight. Am I missing anything else here, Patsy? You keep throwing stuff at me like, oh, did I tell you have to give away the dog? Okay, so let's give a big round of applause again to the Madison County Holstein Club and all the people behind putting on a great production.